the database viewer. Under administration at the top, second item down is the database viewer. There are many reports in WorldView for you to use. Some reports don't contain all the information, and some of the reports just don't have what you need. So we have given you a small view into our servers and some of the information that you can get for your company. The database viewer is a good tool to get information from. So at the top there are three sections: tables. If you scroll down, there are procedures. And then at the very bottom there are saved queries, which are your own type of reports. I'm going to start here at the top under tables. All of these types of tables here are available for you to look at. So for example, one that I use a lot is the distributor one. If you click on the plus sign, you'll be able to open up and view everything that that table can provide you. So if you are looking for people's enrollment dates, their renewal dates, this would be a really good report to run because they have all of that information in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this and show you how to pull it. Double click on it and it'll populate this line of code, of SQL programming code, in order to pull that information out. At the top it says select the top 100 records from the VW distributor table. If all you want to see is the top or the first 100 records, you leave as is and click submit, and you will be able to see the distributor ID, all of the information about that person. Every single thing that is listed here is now in this, and you can scroll down and there's multiple pages. You can scroll all the way over. You can see there is a lot of information there for you. But again, that's only the first 100 records that are in the system. So if you want to see them all, you click in here and you remove top 100. So it says star, select star from VW distributor, click submit. And because this is a very large report, it'll take a minute to pull up, and now you may export it. Once you click on the export button, this of course again will take a minute for it to create a link for you so you can export it. Now that it has taken a minute to load, you can see that the export link is there. Click on that link to download an Excel file. Your computer will then download the file, and then you can open it. And you'll see that all this information is there in a very large spreadsheet. It goes quite a few lines down. So it's a very large spreadsheet of all of your data for your distributors in your account. Now there's a lot of extra information in here that you wouldn't need. So if you are looking for specific information, once you've exported, then you can go in and delete columns that are not necessary for you to have in order to pull the report you need. Okay. So another example of something that you can do is in these tables here, the auto ship. If you wanted to see everybody that's on auto ship, these are the first 100 records, but you can do that. Another thing that you could see would be orders. These are the top 100 orders, but you can see that order 39 was placed on this date for this ID number. This is the address that it was shipped to. So all of that information is in here based on the table. And there may be a lot of extra information that you don't need. Now the next section down is procedures. The procedures are stored processes that Xennsoft programmers have written and provided for you. So for an example, if you wanted to pull a report of volume per state, you double click on that, you enter a start date, and then you enter in an end date, and you hit submit. And this will provide you the information line by line of what you need to know. So you export it, you open it up in an Excel, and here you can see order number, the volume, the state, and the country code. If you are experienced in Excel, you could take this information and drop it into a pivot table and provide people in your company the top states. Down here at the bottom, you have saved queries. So for example, I'm going to write my own query right now. And based off of information off of this table, the VW distributor table, and all the different fields that it can provide to me, I'm going to write a query. I want the dist ID, and you have to use exactly the way it is written out. I want the sponsor ID. So basically just the distributor ID and the sponsor ID from that report, where the sponsor ID equals 3. So I'm going to pull this, and this basically is me taking this report and narrowing it down to the information that I need. Now, if you know anybody in your company that knows SQL, this will be easy. But here's some basic information. You must use these columns that are in there, spell it exactly how it is that's in there, and then you say which report you want it from, and then you give a guideline. So you could have said where enrollment date is between this and this, or where start date equals this date. So you can narrow it down by certain things, where date of birth equals January 4th, where their shipping country is USA. So you can use any of these fields to narrow it down. But what I'm basically asking for in this select is the dist ID, the sponsor ID of everybody who is sponsored by ID number 3. So this is a list, 28 pages long, of everybody who is sponsored by ID number 3. I would then save this and call this dist by sponsor ID, and I'm actually going to save this as a new query. If I scroll down to my saved queries, you'll see it here. If I ever want to know who somebody has sponsored, I can go to this report and change the sponsor ID to whatever their ID number is. So now I want to know everybody that Distributor 6 has sponsored. This would be retail customers, preferred customers, and distributors. I click submit, I export it, and I provide that list to whoever is asking for it. So that's how you can use the database viewer to get the information out of the system quickly and easily if you know SQL.